Awesome. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I'm excited. We have lots of new fun faces here to join us to learn some new fun information tonight. And so, first and foremost, I am Dr. Kayla. I will be hosting this wonderful patch party. I am a doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm also not your chiropractor because nobody on here is from anywhere close to me right now. And so, I am only sharing this information with 100% education, really to blow your mind, I think. I hope without intention of treating, curing, diagnosing, or any of this serving as medical advice. So, as always, we start Patch Party Wednesday, inviting you to connect with your trusted, autonomous, health, and sovereign team that you entrust your health and vitality with. Or if you just make your own choices, that's cool too. So, I want to not delay any further because I want all this information to be able to soak into us. So, first, we're going to talk tonight about this incredible patch technology. So, many of you may have heard of it, many of you may have not. And that is super cool. We're going to dive in. So you may have heard of the patches before. My favorite patch to start with is X39. So X39 is the proprietary 20-year patent patch that is exclusive to LifeWave. And so this patch has swept really the entire world by storm. LifeWave is a 20-year-old company. There's 10 patches in the suite, and we're going to talk about X39 first because it is the foundation. It's the foundation for all of our master cells, and every potential that we have to heal can come from our health and vitality in the world of how we can utilize our own light. So first and foremost, the lovely patch, which I actually just took mine off. I know I'm like in weird postpartum phase where I wear my patches like in the middle of the night through halfway through the day because that's what time I'm awake. So I just took my patches off. But you can see a picture here. This is what the patch looks like. It really is just a sticker. It is made out of organic crystal molecules that make a perfect crystalline lattice. So think of 3D structure. If you're familiar with 3D printers, it's very similar. That is the patented structure of X39. Each patch in the LifeWave suite has its own specific stamp or patented structure, if you will, that our own light of our body can then utilize to create a biological variant. So we are a reflector of light, meaning that our light is put off from our body. We are heat, light, energetic beings. And so if you've seen thermography before, if you've watched any type of criminal TV show where they're searching for criminals with heat vision, you can tell that we emit light. And so when we are able to capture that light and reflect it back into our body via our own light, we could utilize that as a power source, a generator, a solar panel, however you want to think about it. And so we're basically able to tap into another source and potential of health and vitality that has never been utilized before. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is you utilizing your own light to tap into higher potentials of healing and optimization and vitality. So this is not something that is new. It may be new to you hearing it tonight in terms of reflecting your own light back into your body, but I'm sure you've heard of this before. All of us in the world that are not in sunny places, that are dying for sunny places during the winter months. I grew up in northeastern Ohio, so I know what that's like, but here in South Carolina, we do get sun pretty much all year long, so I am not starving for vitamin D anymore. But those of you that go outside to synthesize vitamin D, this process is called photobiomodulation. And that is exactly what is happening. Your body is taking in sunlight and synthesizing a biological variant or nutrient, i.e., vitamin D, that your body needs. And so, photobiomodulation also works the same in the sense of utilizing your own light, just like sunlight. So, depending on what structure, again, that is in this patch, your body can utilize its own light to create its own source. So, this is like a solar panel, its own source of energy to create whatever biological nutrient that your body is needing more of or can benefit in an optimum amount from. So you might be asking, why are we just discovering this now? Why are we utilizing our own light? And this is nothing new. So this comes from the Egyptians and the Greeks, those that worship the sun gods. It's a combination of acupressure or acupuncture in ancient Chinese medicine, utilizing the acupuncture meridians of the body, which if you're not familiar with that, that is like the highway system of the body where we can have flows of energy. So it's like a massive highway system of cells, organs, tissues, organ systems that connect. And in Chinese medicine, they utilize this as a pathway to clear energy and reestablish better communication on those roadways, if you will. So when you combine that specific roadmap with the ability to utilize our own light, which again, the ancient Greeks and the Egyptians utilized different wavelengths of light, different colors of light, knowing how powerful the sun was for our body. We then can capture our own light and utilize it as a means of healing. And so this is why it's so powerful, because we're not putting anything into our bodies. This little patch that you see here, again, just much like a sticker. Some people on my team call it a miracle sticker, they call it little stickies. It is incredible because it only contains organic compounds such as stabilized water, stabilized oxygen, amino acids, and those organic crystal molecules, essentially like crystal particles that help reflect that light back into your body. So it is completely non-transdermal. Therefore, nothing is going into the skin. It's not a vitamin patch. There's none of the biological variants inside the patch going and crossing through the skin into the blood to get into the body. It is your own body making this, which is the most powerful. And for me as a chiropractor is exactly why I'm here every single Wednesday meeting incredible new people like yourself, teaching really the same lesson over and over again, because it is that impactful. And so combining it in my office that we've had for almost 7 years now, that is consistent of really self-guiding individuals to help their body and their nervous system heal in optimal ways. This is the perfect complementary to that, because not only are we adding something, or not only are we not adding something in the body, we're allowing the nervous system in my office to flow and connect and communicate the way it needs to. And then outside of our scope of practice, the things that we cannot do or we cannot address, our body has the optimum potential to heal those with our own light. So it is non-invasive. There's no drugs, no chemicals, no stimulants. And again, this is a 20-year patented product. So there's nothing out there like it. There will never be anything out there like this. And it's just utilizing your own body's light. So here's what happens. In the very beginning, I shared with you that that patch has its own patented structure. Each patch in the LifeWave suite has a patented structure that allows your body to utilize that stamp, if you will, as a recipe code for your body creating that biological variant or nutrient that it needs within X39, so that if you wear the X39 patch, your own light reflects into the patch and your own light helps your body create a copper peptide. This copper peptide is called GHK copper peptide. And GHK copper peptide in the Western world in medical research is coined the holy grail of healing. And this is because Dr. Loren Pickart discovered this peptide. Oh, we have a new friend coming in. Welcome. And this peptide is essential in so many parts of the body, especially in repair, regeneration, cellular turnover, and stem cell activation. So we could talk in terms of hair, skin, and nails, with it tightening and thickening older skin, reducing fine lines and wrinkles, activating and helping stimulate hair growth. And yes, literally from bald to hair growing after years. It is wild to see. Reduction in color, hair reversing color, so going from white to gray back to full color. And it's really fantastic with accelerated wound healing. X39 is a very powerful patch for the wound healing, and you'll see that here in a couple slides. Lung protection. Hello, new friend. Lung protection as well. We all know what happened in the last 5 years in terms of our lung field. So this is a really powerful patch that I've implemented in my office for those who have something in terms of expressing lung dysfunction after all the years of what we know we went through. And then we could talk about fast-growing cells. So we've been really pre-programmed to believe that we're all going to succumb to these fast-growing cells at some point in our life. And unfortunately, I don't believe that's true. And so this is a really incredible opportunity for you to help tap into the vital energy of healing in these aspects. So you could read details. And I really invite you, just want to pause for a second, to go to PubMed, go to your formal research sites that you're able to look up GHK copper peptide. This is not proprietary to LifeWave and the patches. GHK copper peptide is something across medicine that is really powerful. But the difference is they're injecting it, or they're putting it on people's skin and putting it into their bodies. This is our own way to make our own abundant life force energy to create this. And so my neck of the woods, which I love these patches for exclusively as well, is the brain and nerve aspect. So I've seen individuals with disc herniations. I've seen with debilitating degeneration. And yes, it does take time, but it is truly incredible what the body can absolutely do in terms of regenerating and repairing itself when it has the right tools and ingredients. And so I will say as well, this has stretched me. It's really stretched me in terms of even my belief system. And those of you that know me on here know I'm can get pretty very far into the world of 100% believing and trust in our body. But I've seen incredible testimonials from what our body can do in ways I never would have expected, with wearing just our patches and allowing our own light to optimize our function and its highest priority of what our body wants to heal. Next is antioxidant power. So we know we're all under stress. We're all experiencing, some type of oxidative stress, types of EMF, some types of free radicals. So all of this in the aspect of antioxidants is really beneficial. But the reason why we're really here talking about this, let's be honest, is the GHK fact that it activates stem cells. And so stem cells, if you're not familiar, stem cells are essentially the empty canvas, the blank canvas. I said a few weeks ago, the Bob Ross of stem cells. It is the part of our body that we can create any type of cell from. So when you are conceived at the spark of conception, a zinc reaction happens and you are a spark of light into conception. And then you start creating cells and cellular turnover. You create stem cell, and those cells can be turned into a heart, a liver, a lung, a kidney. And once they become that type of tissue, they stay that type of tissue. So you're never going to have a heart cell transfer into the lungs and become a lung cell. So stem cells are essential to our well-being, our vitality, and of course, our healing potential. So we know GHK copper peptide can actually cause stem cells to start producing again. They could also really age reverse stem cells to a healthier, younger state and produce more over time, which is completely unheard of, right? So we've typically been told that stem cells, you have what you have, you're born with them. That's why cord clamping is a whole entire big deal, right? And then we know that stem cells in our storages decline over time. And most people don't realize that midlife, right, that midlife crisis that we talk about is not our 50s and 60s, because we're not living to 100 and 120 years old. That's typically like 25 to 45, right? So that's that really midlife section. And so we could see by the time we get to our mid 30s, we have about 50% of our stem cells left. And so we always ask the age-old question, why are we, as we age faster, why does it take longer for us to heal? Well, it's because we don't have this optimum vitality pool of stem cells that we need and really can optimize with when we are going through most of the major health crisis things that happen after that midlife transition. And so we can talk about different ways to help optimize that, but if we get to the true root of this, the stem cell, we have an opportunity to tap into something we have never seen before. So again, what happens when we activate these stem cells? Well, stem cells, like I said, are unique and they're able to travel to any part of our body, anywhere that needs them. But the most important thing I like to talk about is they always go to the most important, highest priority tissue first. So those of you on here are familiar with innate intelligence, are familiar with the higher priority systems of our body. We are not just by happenstance. Our body has its own functional, well-organized, well-built machine that has its own priority systems. So most of those things are our vital organs, right? Our liver, our heart, our lungs, our kidney. And most of these areas don't actually have motor or sensory components that we could tell from the outside consciously if they're working right. Right? We wonder why someone at 45 drops dead at a heart attack and they exercise every single day of their life, right? So these are the things that I like to talk about in terms of the most important tissues first, because you may not know what you don't know about going on the inside of you. And this is really where starting patching starts to optimize. So we all have our own list. I have my laundry list of things I would love to improve on the outside of my health and well-being, but internally that's where it starts. And this is why in my office this has been really powerful, because I've seen those who have long-term health and vitality, low vital energy, inability to heal a lot of these high priority, important tissue first type things that have started patching and have had incredible shifts because their body just needed more vital energy to be able to continue to do the healing work. So stem cells will move on to where they need to go next in rank of priority. And this is why LifeWave recommends that you should start patching a minimum 1 month per decade you are old. And so if you are 30, that's a minimum of 3 months, 40, 4 months, 50, 5 months, and so on. However, I'm going to challenge you because you should be wearing these for at least a year, and I'm going to show you why, I promise. I am 2 years into wearing these, and yes, you are correct. I don't experience any massive shifts from day to day. However, the longer I have worn them, the more long-term benefits of things that I didn't even realize probably needed help along the way have shifted massively. And so that's why I recommend, as you'll see, wearing for a year. Number one, if you did anything for a year consistently, your life would completely change anyway. But this is the easiest, most simple thing. You literally, when you brush your teeth, you put on a sticker, and when you brush your teeth at the end of the day, you take off the sticker. And it is going to completely transform your entire activation of vital energy. Within the first 24 hours, again, you may not notice anything. Most people do, 85% of people will notice something, but if you don't, putting it on the first 24 hours, over 4,000 genes are already starting to reset. And that's why I say, with time, consistency, and really just call it like set it and forget it, you put it on and you just go about your day, you are optimizing in ways you really can't optimize any other potential way. And this is, 4 weeks in, we've been building 4,000 genes every single day for 4 weeks. We now have this massive army that is activated. And again, you may not feel anything yet. Research shows that 85% of people will notice something or feel something in the first 30 days. 90 to 95%, it will take up to 90 days. And that's not because it's not working. That's because of these principles right here, is that it's doing a lot of work. And depending on what you either know about your health or you don't know about your health and vitality, it may just be doing something really big on the inside that just needs a little bit more time before you could feel it from a cellular level from the inside out. So again, as a chiropractor, these are things that I love to see and love to talk about. We have Dr. Tiffany, who's on our team. She's not on this call, I don't think, tonight. I don't see her. But she did an incredible in her office study, very similar to this research study that was done as well by LifeWave. And so she has the neuroinfinity, those of you that are chiropractors on here. And so she did her brain mapping pre-wearing her patches. She was experiencing heart palpitations. She was experiencing issues with active recovery. She wasn't sleeping. She didn't have a cycle. Her hormones were off. She had all kinds of things going on. And she had tried everything, like extra adjusting, all the things, supplements, you name it. And so she started wearing the patches, and all of course, her brain scans were completely imbalanced. She wasn't recovering. She wasn't able to have active rest. Her brain was very overstimulated. It was affecting her mood. And so after 4 weeks of her patching, she rechecked and all of those levels were back to normal. So this also goes to show in-house that makes a huge difference too. But in this research study, after 6 weeks, the brain becomes more balanced. So talk about upregulation, downregulation, depending on where you're at in terms of overactivity, underactivity. This makes a huge difference in mental health, mental well-being, mental clarity, focus, memory, and sleep and being able to recover and live our day-to-day busy lives. Within 3 months, collagen is increased. I just got a message in a group chat of patchers like just 4 or 5 days ago. Someone posted in there that said, I started patching because I needed a knee replacement, and I'm so glad I started patching because now I don't need one, right? So incredible testimonials of individuals who, with time, consistency, our body can absolutely do what it needs to do to heal and repair the areas in its most highest priority. And so this, again, 6 months is another big research piece that is I love to share is the cardiovascular system. When every single day that you wear a patch, your cardiovascular system metabolically is a day and a third younger. So M on here has an aura ring. She's noticed years of her life in her metabolic and cardiovascular health return to her. We have so many individuals, other doctors, other practitioners who also have tracked these things as well. And it is truly incredible to see what's happening. And these people are, I'll say it, extremely healthy and very proactive in their lives. So it's no matter where you're at on the health spectrum, no matter where you're at in vital energy, there is so much benefit to just utilizing your own light that is essentially being put out into the universe anyway. So this is why I invite everybody for 12 months. Not only do you start to age internally, or age reverse internally, you will also age reverse externally as well. And I also forgot to mention, if you have any questions at any point in time, please put them in the chat. We will have a question and answer period, but I will also love to answer them as we go along too. So this is super fun to talk about because I see this in my office all the time. We have so many people who come in and they complain that they still have knee pain, they still have joint pain after spending tens of thousands of dollars on each joint, and there typically is two of them in our bodies, for stem cell injections from the outside in. And again, some people have had great experiences with them, but they don't last forever. And they're very expensive, they're very painful, they're invasive, and of course, there's no guarantee after spending all of that money. And so this is a surefire way. We've taken all of those people who've had injections on the outside, and taken them and switched them to patches, and they have had incredible, consistent results that they have been happy for, because it's literally like $2 to $3 a day that they're spending instead of like $6,000, $7,000 a joint. So how do we wear them? Like I said already, it's typically we just put them on in the morning when we brush our teeth. So it's a sticker. You take the peely parts off, you stick it on the recommended spot of the body. You go about your day. I highly recommend you increase your hydration. If not, they will request that of you. You will notice you want to drink more water. They do work on the electrical chemical gradient of our body. So the more water you have, the better conductive your body is to utilize and create that energy from these systems. So you wear them for 12 hours and then you take them off and have a 12-hour rest period. The fun thing about these patches is they are activated for 24 hours. However, you do as a human being max out at 12 hours. So I recommend passing it to a pet, a plant, or a partner for that consecutive second 12 hours of this process, and then you repeat daily. So as long as you're hydrated, maybe adding some extra real salt, so Redmond's real salt, Baja Gold salt, even Celtic salt to your food to taste, which salt is great along with water. And my favorite recommendation is eat dark chocolate every single day, 70% cacao and above, to help your body have enough copper to start turning over this incredible GHK copper peptide. So a few testimonials here before we kind of close out of presentation and take some questions and share some testimonials. This is Marcy. Marcy is a dear friend and a huge advocate of LifeWave. She has patched probably tens of thousands of people at this point. But her story started back in 2019 when she was going through a diagnosis of fast-growing cells in her breast tissue. She had chosen conventional treatment and was really preparing for transition. She had lost all options. She hadn't have much opportunity for healing left. She lost all her vital energy, and so she was just preparing for the worst. A friend of hers, practitioner, handed her a handful of 10 of these patches and said, just try them. What else? What are you going to lose? What else is it going to hurt? So she tried them. And on day one, she noticed that most of the chemo, or she noticed this metal taste of chemo coming out of her mouth and starting to detox. On day five, her skin and her hands started to become softer. And here's the vital energy component that I talk about. Emotionally, on day 10, she felt like she had energy back. She felt like she had mental clarity. Like things started to shift for her and she could see and see hope at some point. And this is the big thing, is that most people who are expressing health and aren't very well don't have vital energy to heal. So, of course, they don't have vital energy to think or have hope that there's potential of healing also. And that is the biggest shift that I've personally felt myself and seen and helped tons and tons of other people with these patches experience as well, is it just creates more space. It allows you to take a deep breath. It gives you enough energy to calm down, to rest your nervous system, to say, actually, there may be hope for me, and to see a better way out of your health situation. This is research here from a 77-year-old woman, so those of you are practitioners are familiar, of course, with thermography scans, or at least the different colors of thermography. So the higher up here, reds and oranges and yellows, not ideal, that's inflammatory. We have blues and greens and light blues, that's less inflammatory. So we could see just after 3 times of wearing the patch, the shift in the brain vitality for the 77-year-old woman. So decreased brain inflammation, improved memory, focus, cognitive brain function, and of course, increased GHK copper peptide supports cell and nerve regeneration. Here's some fun testimonials as well. This is one of my favorite bonuses, and I say bonuses because most people are not starting X39 to remove scars. You might be now, but everybody who starts patching with X39, the body doesn't like tension. The body doesn't like things wound up and out of order. And so typically, most of the time, those who, I always say, when you start wearing these patches, take pictures. Even if you don't even think about looking at your knee or take pictures of your whole body, because things will completely start to transform. I've had patchers within 9 days have scars completely gone. Scars that caused issues. They couldn't wear shoes. They couldn't wear certain things on those points because they were so sensitive, completely gone. Because the body doesn't like scar tissue. It doesn't like being bound up in tension. Here, for all my chiropractors on here, this is what blew my mind. And I've actually patched so many individuals at this point for to actually see this in my office in terms of functional outcomes. And so typically we see this going from this to this, not this to this. So really incredible. And of course, I just met somebody actually at a market that paid tens of thousands of dollars for stem cell injections into her discs to have this outcome. And when she learned that you could wear a patch and not have to pay tens of thousands of dollars and get injections into your spine, she was like, sign me up because that worked for me. And so this every single day I know is going to be very preventative and proactive. Da, da, da. Okay, this is a cool story too because, our power potential of our human body just is literally never ending. So this little boy is 10 years old. He cuts off the tip of his finger in an accident. They take him to emergency. They reattach and stitch back on the tip of his finger. It dies. They say, oh, well, and it's not going to take. We're gonna have to figure out what to do. Cut off your finger. Someone hands him some patches. He starts wearing the X39 patch in 2 days. The finger started to take, and now it is completely healed in a couple weeks' time. So this is a really powerful patch story as well. Oh, we have a new friend. Hello, Yvonne. Come in. And so we have, of course, scoliosis. So we could see this, which typically we don't see this reversal at this age in functionality as well. Here we have some radiation. So we could see this is always fantastic to look from June 6th to June 23rd, June 30th, literally under a month's time, seeing her skin, seeing the wound healing, and of course the tone and the texture of her skin changing as well. And so just to run through a couple, key points here, I said in the very beginning, there's 10 patches in the LifeWave suite. We talked about vital energy, and we talked about X39 predominantly. X39 is the patch that you want to wear every single day. It's the foundation of building the house. So once you have that solid foundation, you start patching and you're optimizing that GHK, and the GHK starts activating those stem cells via your own light, you are able to then start compounding and building the house, like rebuilding the structure of your vitality. And so we could add in support patches. Support patches support other areas of vital energy. So this is a broad spectrum anti-inflammatory patch. It's also called the happy patch. It's the nervous system patch for all my chiros on here. This puts you into parasympathetic downregulation. Putting this and this on is the perfect dynamic duo. I've seen people to go from complete panic to complete cool and melting away tension in their bodies. This is great for all kinds of rebalancing, inflammation in the body, and so many other benefits in terms of mental rebalancing and mental health as well. Next, we have X49. This is the AHK copper peptide, or the daughter peptide of GHK copper peptide. So this promotes vitality in the cardiovascular system, lungs, blood, fat metabolism, the frontal lobes of the brain. So this is great for cognition, fantastic for athletes. It's a really powerful patch for those who are really active in their daily life to have better active recovery. This patch was incredible during my third pregnancy recently. I was able to lift heavy, workout, high intensity workouts with no muscle soreness afterwards. I did an 8-hour hike through scaled 3,000 feet of elevation in France at 20 weeks pregnant with no issues. It was wild and miraculous. I never would have been able to do that, even if I wasn't pregnant, let alone not patching. Then we have carnosine. Carnosine is an essential amino acid. Again, there's nothing in these patches. It helps your body via your own light make its own. So when we increase our own production of carnosine, this has incredible benefits from blood pressure to blood sugar regulation, as well as tonifying organs. It can help remove aluminum from the brain, and detox the system from various aspects in that realm, as well as increase the production of skeletal muscle and active recovery. So it's a really powerful patch. It's fantastic for the heart and the brain as well. Next, glutathione. This is not a stranger. I'm sure everybody in the world has heard of glutathione in the natural health market. This is far better than even the infusions I used to get, because it's, a couple dollars a day. And when you put this patch on and wear it for 12 hours, you get glutathione increased for 24 hours in your body at 300%, which is huge. And that doesn't happen when you get it injected, either via injection or infusion, because the half-life is so short when you inject it. Next is Alavida, another powerful patch. This is the epithalamin peptide that it becomes activated in your body. This is internal and external skin. So think gut lining, think external skin. This is cortisol, this is hormones, this is circadian rhythm. So this is a fantastic complement if you are wanting to downregulate, come to back to homeostatic balance, have better sleep. This patch, gosh, there's so many benefits to this patch. I could go on and on forever. There was basically a whole book written on the benefits of this patch and this patch, so they're very two big powerhouses of Alavita. Um, just to finish up these next couple patches, XP6 is your hormone patch. This is the one that will downregulate or upregulate your hunger and your cravings as well. It also works on the autonomic nervous system organs, so think kidney, liver, thyroid, hypothalamus, pancreas, kidneys, adrenals, intestines. This is a really fantastic patch. It's incredible in the world of fertility or those with menstrual imbalances, also those pre, peri, post menopause. It'll wipe out a hot flash. And if you didn't catch me on Instagram today, it's fantastic for libido too. Me and Em went live talking about Libido Light today. So if you want a good comedy show, go check it out.
I will say SB6 too for hot flashes. Like it's yeah.
Thank you.
I was like reflecting on like, oh wow. I mean, I was at a point where it was uncomfortable, day or night. And I'm good. I mean, I can't say my nights aren't don't have heat to them, but it's more just like anyway, it's not that wave of like intensity that I was experiencing on the daily. So
Amazing.
thank you.
Next, we have Silent Nights. This is a patch that you can optimize to help the natural production of melatonin in your body. So it's a wonderful patch to add after you've been patching for a little bit to help optimize a deeper sleep. Then we have Energy Enhancer and Ice Wave. These two patches do not contain a stamp, if you will, for a peptide for your body to create, but it works off of magnetic fields of polarity. So these two are two patch systems. So instead of one, you wear one on each side of the body. So it's a two patch system. This is the first patch ever created. It's called Energy Enhancer. It was created by David Schmidt over 20 years ago. It was the first patch he created for the Navy SEALs. So he was contracted for the Navy SEALs to create a stimulant-free, drug-free, energy producer like that the body can tolerate and actively recover from to help the Navy SEALs do their job without any long-term deficits to their health and vitality. And so once 9/11 happened, they completely shifted their trajectory in his contract, and David Schmidt then opened LifeWave and started patenting all of his products and his inventions. And so Energy Enhancer is a very powerful patch. It's fantastic for older generations to put on the bottom of their feet for grounding to prevent slips and falls. It burns about 300 to 600 calories a day. It is not a caffeine energy. It is not a energy drink energy. It is a grounded energy. So you could actually wear this for 24 hours. I've worn it for 24 hours. You could still sleep with it. These two patches are the only ones that you could wear for 24 hours consistently with no break in between because they are not the patches that work as the other ones. They are the ones that work off of magnetic polarity. So next we have Ice Wave. Ice Wave is the pain patch. This is like the miracle pain patch everybody talks about. You've probably heard of LifeWave because of X39 and or Ice Wave. This will stop pain in its track. You could go from chronic pain to 15 years to after 2 minutes of putting these patch on, be pain free. It is incredible. I've experienced it myself. Fast acting, non-addictive, no drugs, no stimulants. You could wear it for 24 hours, take a set off, and put another set on right away. So between X39 and Ice Wave, you get the perfect duo of being pain-free and activating healing. And most of the time, people find just within a couple weeks they don't have to wear Ice Wave anymore because the healing has helped reduce that pain and help move to a higher vital state. AccuLife, just as a side note, is marketed for animals. It is simply the same exact patch as Ice Wave, and so I recommend that you utilize all your patches on your pets because they're all fantastic, but this specifically is marketed to animals only. So let's see. Okay, anybody who was invited here today, I want you to thank the person that you invited here because they genuinely loved and cared about you enough to get you here today. If you have questions, we are going to open the mic now for questions. You are welcome to type it in the chat. You're welcome to unmute. You don't have to turn your video on. We are all just an open, informal, casual community here for you to ask questions and get the help you need. Let's see, I'll start with this question in the chat. I have L4, L5, and L5S1 pain for years. How can this help? Also had a recent right lower back muscle pull. I am in pain. Can this help? Yes, absolutely. So I would recommend the pain and tissue repair. So you can get X39 and Eon. So X39, again, foundational, GHK copper peptide, which is going to activate the stem cells, start to repair these areas. You're going to put that on your body and wear that daily. Then you're going to add an Eon. This can help with inflammation and bringing the nervous system down into a parasympathetic state so you can heal. And then you pair that with Ice Wave, and that is going to take the pain, reduce the pain down as much as it can. It'll break up those pain gating channels. You find the perfect place to put it on you. There's a couple ways you could try to patch for pain. You just have to find your unique pattern of pain. I've never had anybody that maybe it takes a couple of times different patterns to patch to find what the pain is for you. But you could be pain-free or reduce pain as much as possible with no drugs, no stimulants, and heal at the same time. So that is what I'd recommend for you. And then I'm interested in these for my autistic non-speaking 6-year-old. Which patches are recommended and where would I put them? Is it okay to have it on while he's sleeping? Yes. So I have lots of kiddos that are neuroatypical or on the spectrum in our practice. X39 and Eon, again, very two powerful patches that I would start with. With kids, I do just typically start with X39 and Eon because kids don't typically need as much help in the front end. They just need time and consistency. So I would say X39 and Eon you would start with, and he could wear these. I mean, typically I find kiddos with, on the spectrum or neuroatypical patterns can sometimes benefit better from wearing some of these patches at night than during the day. So it really is just a trial and error. So he could wear both during the day or both at night. You could start off at 6 hours on, 6 hours off and work up to 12 hours. Those kiddos that do have sensitivities to touch or tactile things, you don't even have to place them on the body. You could stick them on the inside of a shirt as long as they're within 1 inch and they're up against the body with the little white part of the patch up against the body. It doesn't have to be the sticky part. As long as it's there, you could put them in a hat or a headband or underneath a waistband, like an underwear band. So as long as they are in that area, the body's going to get be able to utilize its heat and light to activate it and reflect it back in. And so he could sleep with them on, and I would just start there. The easiest, most consistent thing is to start there. In the long run, we could add more depending on how things change, and we could shift that protocol a little bit. But yeah, it's the easiest thing to just get it on and stay consistent with it. Let's see, Andrew, Dr. Andrew, you could unmute yourself or type your question in. Doesn't matter to me.
Okay, yeah, it'll be easier if I say it. So, just had a grandmother get out of the hospital. She was told that they found on scans either stage 4 liver cancer or liver cirrhosis. She's basically not strong enough to survive the biopsy to determine which one it is. However, she's having a buildup of ammonia, so it's giving her dementia side effects, things like that. Which patches would you recommend, being that is a little bit of everything?
Yeah.
Where would you say would be the best place to start?
How old is she?
She just turned 84.
Okay, I would start with X39 and Eon. So you'll hear this a lot. The more I give kind of patch recommendations, you cannot go wrong with X39 and Eon to start with. This is the easiest way to get the body to get into rest and digest and heal mode and start to activate the body's master cells and start to regenerate and repair where it needs to. So typically we start with X39 and Eon. And I'll go over this in just a minute, but you may want to purchase a wholesale kit to get the best price for these patches. And so you could get some good support patches. So even if you buy a wholesale kit with a couple patches, you would start easing in with X39 and Eon. And so I'd start with X39 and Eon. I would then add in the rest of the Y-age trio, which I'll show you. The Y-age trio is basically Eon, carnosine, and glutathione. So if nothing else that you patch within your life besides X39, Eon, carnosine, glutathione, and even an Alavita, you're going to be solid because we're not treating anything, right? We're just giving the body lots of different pools of vital energy to start to restore. Thinking of liver, the glutathione is so important for the liver. So I would say in the trajectory for her, start with X39 and Eon for, a week to 2 weeks. add in some carnosine for another week, and then add in the glutathione, and you have a nice little protocol to follow up with. And I could give you suggestions on frequency and intensity of all that, but that's what I would suggest to start with. And that's a really beautiful protocol for anybody experiencing any type of health expression to give enough vital energy to start to shift things at the rate that they want to shift.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this chat real quick. Rachika said he has Ice Wave too. I have samples, him, Eon. Where should we apply Ice Wave? Okay, so quickly, there's a video I have on YouTube. Em, can you help me out and put that in the chat potentially? Or Grace? Oh, Grace is on here. I just saw her picture. Yay! If either one of you can throw that in the chat. I have a patching video on our YouTube channel for how to patch for Ice Wave. There's 3 different ways. You could try it on the bottom of the feet, or you could try it up here in the apices of the lungs or the armpits, and then start with that. Those are the easiest ones. If that doesn't change anything, then you could patch regionally, meaning that you can patch like right and left around an area, depending on where it's at, or you could patch isolatively, like putting one sticker on the most intensive point of pain and one around it. All of this is explained in the video. And I have a new training portal coming out soon that also goes in depth this a lot, even a lot more than that video already does. So if you need help to just reach out to whoever's team you're on and they'll connect you with me, or if you can connect with me. Yeah, you have another question because I saw your hand raised.
No, I was just a question that
Yay!
let me thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Okay, Dana. Hello, Dana. Recommended for inflammation for arthritis. Yes. Okay, so many incredible patch testimonials. This is the same type of kit that I recommended for Dr. Andrew. So X39 Eon, carnosine, glutathione, Alavita. That would be the perfect kit for you because we're gonna add these in over time, adding more vital energy. X39 again, master cells, foundational. You're gonna wear that one daily. Eon is that broad spectrum anti-inflammatory. Fantastic. Fantastic for arthritis, fantastic for any type of inflammation in the body or the brain. And then adding in carnosine, adding in glutathione, and you could always add Alabeta in when you add Eon. That's going to help with just the restoration of the cartilage, of the collagen of the body, which again is huge for inflammatory markers as well as arthritis. In regards to osteoporosis, X49 is your powerhouse. This one helps with bone density, bone repair, as well as just strength in general, the cardiovascular system, lungs, and blood. So adding that one in. So I would say for an osteoporosis situation, for a wholesale kit, X39, X49, Eon, and carnosine, you could do these 4. And that's what you would get in a wholesale kit, and then work up to that aspect as well. M says for a 9-year-old who is considered experiencing neurodivergency and neurospicy behaviors exhibiting at peaks are kicking, maybe punching physically towards other people. Okay, so X39 and Eon, always with kids, no matter what, start there. Carnosine may be really important just because typically kiddos who are neurospicy or neurodivergent don't get adequate nutrients because they tend to be very picky eaters based off of texture. So carnosine is another one you would add in down the line, especially if they're exhibiting very like up and down type behaviors. And then I say this in the long term, silent nights is really fantastic for kiddos on the spectrum because it helps them produce their natural melatonin. This is not something I would recommend adding from the get-go because it may upregulate them. If they're already upregulated, you don't want to add to that. But after about like 3 to 4 to 5 weeks of patching with X39, this one you could add in to help with that sleep. Like we've had a few kiddos that don't sleep, of course, and are just up all hours of the night. This one has helped after a little bit of time with X39 and Eon to help restore that natural melatonin because also melatonin directly correlates with serotonin. So that's, of course, shifts mood as well. But Eon first before any of that. Thank you for posting that video above. You're so welcome, Dana. Okay, anybody else? You can unmute yourself if you have any questions. Anyone? Anyone? Okay, cool. Yay! You've all made it to the point of free patch samples. Congratulations. So those of you who are guests on here, please take this email down. I would love for you to send me an email with your name, your mailing address, and who invited you, and we will send you some X39 samples in the mail just out of gratitude for coming, listening to me, wanting to hear more information, and being curious about the potential of healing with your own light. So I want you to be able to experience that for yourself, for your time and energy exchange being here today. And if no one has any other questions, we have about 10 minutes for anyone to share their story. So if anybody's on here and wants to share their story, Grace, if you're able to share your story, Dana, I think that heart means you want to share your story, maybe? Um,
Hey,
let's have Grace go first. Yay!
sorry, I look awful. I've been all over. But so my story started about, it's getting closer to like 2.5, 3 years now. My mom had been patching for years and I just wasn't interested. We grew up holistic. I tried so many different things to help with my autoimmune disorder and with my anxiety, and nothing was helping. I'd gotten to the point where I was just absolutely fed up with trying new things. So I turned to Western medicine, Ativan, Lexapro, Atarax. Because I couldn't sleep, so I was having to take like a heavy sedative to put me to sleep. I'd gotten really bad anxiety after my dad passed unexpectedly from a heart disease that we didn't know he had. And so having all the health issues and being in and out of the hospital my whole life, I already had health anxiety. And so him dying kind of lit a fuse of anxiety, which I just could not get out of for about 2 years. And it progressively got worse until I had COVID for the 6th time because I had no immune system. So I just kept getting sick. And I was literally like at my wit's end because I was so anxious. It got to the point where I could barely work anymore just because I was getting like stress induced migraines like twice, 2 times. It's awful. Like I get them probably like twice a week. And I went to Dr. Kayla because I was like, she's my neighbor. And I'm like, Kayla, I got any help. So she was helping me with the migraines and I was starting to get a little bit better, but I was missing something. I tried everything. And my mom's like, you've been ordering me like the patches for like 2 years for me. And I know you're lying. I know you're not wearing them. Put on the patches. I'm like, whatever. I'll just try it. And it changed my life. So now because of all the different lines of issues, I was not at the prime of my life at 22 or 24. So I can't really say that I got my life back because I didn't really have a life before. It was always either anxiety or just being sick. It was always something I had just never really had a life. So it gave me a life. It gave me hope. I don't have anxiety. I hardly ever have panic attacks. I have no really issues with my immune system. I hardly ever get sick. And when I do, I can manage it at home with the patches and natural stuff. And I don't have to go straight to the emergency room because I'm worried about getting sepsis and dying. It's completely changed everything. I don't have anxiety. That's something that when you're in that, you don't ever think it's going to change. So for me, that's still unbelievable. I just think about, I can't even remember the last time I had a panic attack. And it used to be multiple daily. So it's every aspect of my life is completely changed.
Yay. And also for those, I think you forgot to mention, she grew up with a blood disorder. So she was constantly in and out of
Mm-hmm.
the hospital with a compromised immune system. And every single turn she experienced something, she was in the hospital. And she hasn't been in the hospital for how long?
It's been crazy for me to not even know the last time I was in the hospital because it used to be literally multiple times a year. I'd have to go. My hematologist knew me by name. They knew that the second that I had a fever, they were on call. They called the straight ahead to the ER, and I had like a protocol plan in place. Oh, Grace is coming in. Here's what you got to do, and I had to go straight to the IV. It's just so much stress all those years on my mom too. She developed RA because of all the stress on her, and her body's been restored. So I can tell the hour-long version another day, but there's so many aspects to how sick I was. I forget sometimes just how bad it was. That's why we talk about the health tracker, just writing down your symptoms whenever you first get started. because as you feel better, you'll forget all the little things that have changed. Like, I was even thinking back, like, I had a hard time getting my nails to grow. Now I have to cut them like 2 times a week because I can't keep up with it because my body has so much more collagen. There's so many tiny things I look back and think about, like, oh my gosh, I wish I had a list of all the little things that have changed, but it's incredible.
Thank you. I love your story. Anyone else want to share? Anyone? Anyone?
I feel like I've shared today. I'm always happy to share. And Grace's story always touches me, so pardon my emotions and heart flowing out through my eyes. For me, the patches continue to amaze me in ways that are really unexpected. Like my original list of desires haven't necessarily manifested in the way that I thought that they would. Um, and I love the idea of remembering taking pictures and tracking because honestly, I'm finally just now after, I don't know, I started at the beginning of October, getting to a point where I'm actually tracking more. Which has been really beautiful to journal. Really, I journal through my voice mostly at this point, so I tell the story and reflect it back to myself. But I've seen things from a massive libido shift, clearing hot flashes, cycle returning after over 220 or 280. I'd have to look back days. So I've had 2 cycles. My cardiovascular age is youngifying, if that's a word. My hair is shifting. My capacity to be with what is. Yeah, just even able to have conversations and have boundaries that I wouldn't have really been able to embody before. And not take on other stuff. So that's coming through what to share now. There's so many other things. You talk about scars. I've had multiple surgeries on my abdomen area, and I feel like that is finally the tension on that is finally loosening. I have a significant scar here from a port and from tissue being removed over here, and I can feel it all just loosening, and sometimes it's uncomfortable, and I can even from here I can taste stuff still. Because I just remember the connection being, anyway. So, I mean, I think this is also a testament to um, so if I did the LifeWave recommendation of months per decade, I would have been, at 5 months, 4.5 months would have been the time to be okay. And if I stopped then, I would be missing a lot. And so I'm really grateful to come to a year and beyond to understand the layers of depth of the light shining through that can just, yeah, just allow it to be more magical.
Yes. And I want to speak to that too. I know me and Emma have been going live on Wednesdays during the day on Instagram talking about just the benefits beyond what we even talked about here. And for myself, I am coming up on about 2 years of patching, and I didn't get into patching for myself. I got into it for my daughter, and for her skin when she was experiencing neurodermatitis really intensively. And so it opened up an entire door to our entire family. And now it's not just something I do, it's part of who I am, right? It's like I get up and I brush my teeth and I put these on. And well, like I said in the beginning, I don't experience massive shifts day to day, but having my third child, bringing my third child into the family, and being a stay-at-home mom that runs a business from home and has a business in person, and then supporting others virtually through a third business, I'm very stretched, and I would have never been able to do this without children, let alone doing it with 3 children and having the capacity to have patience and not be overstimulated. So it's not just the physical. So you may notice something in the beginning that is the physical, but the reason why I invite everybody to a year is I hear this over and over again in the past 2 years that I've been listening to people's stories all over the world talk about what this has done for them is that if the second they want to give up, is the time that they're going to miss their miracle. Like they're going to miss what's going to happen. So if you would have given up at 4.5 months, right? If I would have stopped patching, because I patched for 6 months and didn't notice really much of anything, I wouldn't have healed all of my kidney issues. I wouldn't have had a beautiful third pregnancy that I got to scale mountains and do fun things and travel far away and, and have like a really quick postpartum recovery and not go through all the postpartum things that most women do and feel strong carrying my baby and just being able to do things that I didn't experience in other previous postpartums. And so I just like, want to invite everybody who's on here that it's the year and beyond. I don't really think I'll ever stop wearing these patches. I mean, they've become, my kids ask for them intuitively. Patients, it just feels good to them when they put them on, and there's nothing in them there's no contraindications, there's no side effects, it doesn't interfere with medications because we're not putting anything into our bodies. And so I just want to invite everybody on here to just be open that you may have a physical list of things, but typically emotionally and mentally are the shifts that you experience in the beginning and things start rolling because we have to be open to healing. We have to have hope. We have to turn on this idea that healing is even a possibility when we've been told that it's probably not for a long time. And that's what these patches do is they create space and they create opportunity and vital energy for us to see another way out, see another potential. And that's why I'm here and why I share this and why I will keep wearing the patches. So I just want to finish up. I know we got about 2 minutes left. Those of you that are new here, if you want to go in and optimize on getting wholesale pricing, because the individual invited you here today, whoever invited you and referred you here can help you build out to get the most savings, a really beautiful customized kit for your health and vitality goals. Your first order does have a 30-day money back guarantee. So I've been talking too much. So if it's not the thing for you, that's okay. There's an opportunity for you to experience that with no imbalances. And then here's a couple opportunities for you. I want to go over this because there's so many individuals who are on here that I know had a lot of questions about starting with patching. So that core kit that I gave most of you is that X39 plus 4 support sleeves, that little kind of regimen to start optimizing vital energy. You can get those 5 sleeves of patches for $2.95. They will come to your door in 2 to 3 days via FedEx. It's so easy, so simple. You just put X39 on your monthly auto ship every 28 days for $99, and it's literally set it and forget it. You could cancel it anytime. You could change your order up to 24 hours before. It's literally the easiest thing that you can do. If you wanted to patch again more towards that 1 year mark, you get a better deal. You get up to 10 sleeves of patches with X39 and support sleeves that are going to last you a decent amount of weeks. And that's $535. And so that's an opportunity. You could share these with your family members. You could, patch your children, patch your pets. I mean, I'm also an animal chiropractor, and I won't even go into the miraculous things these patches have done for the paralyzed animals I see, for the animals who've lost all hope. And I think it speaks to something if you see these patches work for an animal, because there ain't no making anything up with this, right? It's like if animals are so innately connected. And then if you are wanting to just share these and just be all in for your entire year, literally you could get an entire year covered and then some with support patches and X39 for $17.50. I mean, so it's an incredible opportunity for you to dive into having a massive amount of patches on hand. I left my box downstairs. I patched my kids before I came up here, but I just have a box of probably like 25, 30 sleeves of patches that we just have. Like it's our medicine cabinet, right? It's our light healing medicine cabinet. So I just wanted to share that with you so you have insight of what we're talking about and what I mean by building out a customized kit for you and your family members. And if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to get with the person who sent you here and email me if you want those samples. And we are more than happy to help you. Our team is really beautiful, and we are just so jazzed up about watching people and witnessing them heal in ways that I truly, honestly have never seen before, even in a chiropractic office. So it speaks volumes to me. And so I will graciously thank you all for hanging on with me 2 minutes over our hour timeline. But if you have any questions, myself, you can get in touch with Grace or the person who invited you here, and we would love to help share the light with you. And I hope you all have a beautiful evening and hope to see you patching soon. See y'all.